So really our intent today was to provide them an update on the current situation that we have in Kona. As many people know, we had 4 wells down, which put us into a water restriction. And then as of August 13th, we had a 5th well go down. But there is some good news in that we're really focused on 3 well repairs right now: Hualalai, Palani, and Honokohau. Hualalai and Palani were scheduled to be complete according to the contract completion date of end of November, end of October, respectively. But due to diligence of our staff working with the contractors, the manufacturers, and the distributors, we're able to get some priority on the manufacturing process. So we're able to get advanced delivery on the key items. So Palani and Hualalai are looking to be completed in advance of their completion dates. Hualalai, first off, we're hoping to get online 3rd week of September. So that's 2 months in advance of the contract completion date of November. And Palani, we're hopeful that we'll get that online 4th week of September. So about a month ahead of schedule. Honokohau, we're looking at the end of October. So once we get 1 well back online, we can ease off the current emergency restriction where we're telling everybody, health and safety needs only, hand watering of precious plants. We'll go back to the normal 25% restriction. So as long as you've cut back your use by 25%, you can continue to water your lawns, things like that. If we get the 2 and 3rd wells back online by the end of October is what we're currently shooting for, we should be able to relieve the restriction and just go back to encouraging 10% conservation as best practice. So, and also, there's been concern about the upcoming Ironman. So we're also, with the 2 wells back online at the end of September, we're confident that the Ironman event will be able to accommodate that Ironman event without any major situations to our water supply. Even this past weekend where we had the long weekend, we had the Queen Liliuokalani canoe races, so there was concern about that as well. We've been tracking certain tank levels twice a day, even throughout the weekends and holidays. And those tank levels remain steady even throughout the Labor Day weekend. So that helped increase our level of confidence. For one, the community has been awesome. The community has really done their part and reduced their water use. From the normal, approximately 11 million gallons a day has been the average. Rough numbers that we're looking at recently, this hasn't been really verified, but as of August 13th, when we initiated that emergency water restriction, it looks like people have cut down their use dramatically. I mean, on the order of looks like over 30% overall community-wide. So the community has really done more than their part overall. So thanks again to the community for that. Everybody has continued to maintain water service. Nobody has gone without water. And basically that was the main message for the council this morning.
You were originally, it looked like, and maybe they changed it, you were going to make a presentation on the water plan, right?
Right,
yeah. Okay.
Right. So that got, my understanding was that got pushed back, and I don't know if they've even come up with the agenda yet for the subsequent committee meetings. I think are going to be held in Kona. Council members felt it might be more appropriate to take up that agenda in Kona on the water use and development plan update. So this update was planned a couple weeks ago. Even shortly after we did one initial update in front of the council back in July. So this update, we're hopeful to have good news. We're hopeful that we'd have from 4 wells down, we're hopeful that we'd have 3 wells. But now actually we have 5. So that's not the update we're hoping for. But again, the good news is that we are ahead of schedule on 2 of the well repairs, and we also have a better than expected turnaround on the Honokohau well repair.
Yeah.
So, man, the timing with all of the stuff going on has just been uncanny. For us, this well situation is like an anomaly, almost like a perfect storm, 100-year storm. But coupled with the timing of closing out this Keoho aquifer situation is just uncanny. It's not related directly, but some items that's coming out of the water use and development plan, I think are going to come into play as good things to keep in mind moving forward. You know, using this freshwater resource for its highest intended use, human consumption and things like that. So we might have to take a look at long-range planning efforts and how we can incorporate the proper use of this resource, especially in areas that are drier, like Keoho, and maybe even look at you know, how it affects maybe our planning policies, things like that, as well as procedures with the Department of Water Supply. I know Kealakehe treatment plant is in the process of looking at upgrading the plant for R1, and that all feeds into that concept of using the freshwater resource for its best use, things like that. Part of the development plan actually is more of a qualitative guidance. So as far as the high-level well development, so right now we kind of have a concentration of high-level wells more in that vicinity of Palani Junction and north. And then there's kind of a large gap between our southernmost high-level well, which is Waiaha, and the next one down, which is Haleki'i. So there's this big gap. So the preference would be to have better spaces in between the wells to install more wells to the south instead of concentrating them up north. So that's part of the plan. And what's not in the plan, but what we are thinking of doing as part of this improvements moving forward, is to drill smaller capacity wells, 400 horsepower, 700 GPM, instead of these 800 horsepower, 1400 GPM single large capacity units. We want to probably double up two smaller ones instead of a single larger one.
Makes sense.
Yeah, better redundancy, hopefully longer lifespan out of the pumps and motors.
Not all eggs in one basket.
Exactly, something like that, yeah. Yeah. And if one of those go down, we still got half the capacity left, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
No, again, thanks to the community. Thanks for everybody for doing their part. We apologize for any stress and inconvenience this has caused. And for the department, this is priority one. We got all hands on deck for this. You know, this is one of 23 systems, but pretty much every day we have discussions and efforts related to our Kona water situation. So.